Hi, I'm Dr. Andrea Labuti, and this is the Autism Journey video series. I am creating this series of videos to help parents meet all the challenges along the way with our individual journeys, and most specifically address roadblocks head on, roadblocks that are keeping our kids from thriving and really reaching their full potential. So this is video number one, and this is roadblock number one. Fixing or curing my child with autism, and why you should throw that out the window. Now, there's going to be a lot of controversy around this for both sides, but please stick with me because I promise it's not going to be what you expect, and it really is a powerful way to work with your child and approach your child. So the first thing I'm going to do is take you back to my own son's diagnosis day. It's one of those days that's etched in my brain forever. It's February 12th, 2006, and he was not quite 20 months old. And we had a county-appointed child psychologist following him around basically for 3 hours and assessing him and trying to get him to engage in different things and most of the stuff he wasn't interested in. So I was sitting on my living room floor and I had her report in my hands. And she had a scale of 0 to 20 being mild autism, 20 to 40 being moderate autism, and 40 plus being severe autism. So I remember I started the day optimistic because I felt like I was going to get some answers. I knew something had gone wrong. I knew there was something that had happened to my child, and he became autistic, and I really thought I was going to get some answers. So here I sat on the floor with her report, and I saw the number 50 in front of me. And I remember thinking, as I was tearing up and feeling like just so devastated, I remember thinking, wow, he's not only autistic, he's severely autistic. And I still get sad when I think about that day over a decade ago. It was 12 years ago. And what I realized is I'm sad. I was sad because on that day when I got the diagnosis, my hopes and dreams for my child living any kind of normal life, right? That's what we want for our kids, to have a normal life, just flew out the window. Like a gust of wind came in and poof, everything was gone. And here's the thing, what really flew out the window that day was my attachment to my preconceived notions of a normal life. And I admit it took me many years to come to this new attitude that I have about autism. And it only took me that long because I really spent the first 5 to 7 years of his life trying to fix his autism. I wanted the silver bullet. I went to conference after conference. I read every book I could get my hands on. I went to all the autism doctors. I became an autism doctor. I bought a $20,000 hyperbaric oxygen chamber, all these things that I was doing. And here's what I learned. I learned that diet, supplements, any healing modalities that are going to help promote wellness and restore healing in any person definitely applied to autism too. Okay, there's a lot of physiology that's screwed up in autistic kids. They're like these hypersensitive sponges that just absorb all this stuff in, including all the toxins and pollutions on the planet today. So what I really discovered was it was not his autism that needed to be fixed. It was his unwellness that needed to be fixed. Okay, we all can use some fixings. Okay, all the statistics out there. We're starting to hear all the statistics about toxicity, pollution, air, water, food, clothing. So it surrounds us. So it's really important that you don't give up on restoring wellness in your child and yourself. That's not what I'm saying here. But you have to give up on the notion of fixing the autism. And here's why. What I learned in really trying to understand my son is because of his autism, he has some really phenomenal, unique perspectives and ways of being in this world. And they're not to be taken lightly. They're quite phenomenal. And it's because of his autism, because of his wired differently brain. He has a different brain. He's a hypersensitive individual. He feels the environment very different than we do. My son has some remarkable strengths. He's got perfect pitch. He can name off 5 notes played simultaneously on a piano from the other room, and you can just keep changing them up, and he will tell you rapid fire what those 5 notes are. He also tells me that he sees colors when he hears sound. So he tells me, I think an A is red, a B is orange, and a C is yellow. And he also has some remarkable visual spatial aptitude. His school had him tested, and for the visual spatial piece of it, which was 1/5 of this test, he scored in the 99.9th percentile, which is really a super genius in that area. And, if you just pay attention to your child's strengths, like you really look at my son, he can build these elaborate electronic circuits. He can engineer all these elaborate things. He's really into shapes and polyhedrons and creating things. He's brilliant when it comes to electricity and systems. It's remarkable. And the other thing that's really because of his autism is his ability to feel his way through the world. Like, you can put him in a room and he can feel the vibe. Most kids know when they're sitting in a room what the vibe is, right? All that body language and things that we pick up on. But with children with autism, at least with my son and many others that I know about, he feels it exponentially higher than the majority of us do. So, my husband and I were always joking about, wow, when there's harmony in the house, the kids do really well, especially Jack. And, that's not really late breaking news, but when you think about a child with autism and how they are so exquisitely sensitive to the energy and the emotions and the vibe in the room, you can see why understanding that piece of autism is really important to creating an environment for your child, both at home and with teachers and in an educational setting, to really help them thrive and grow. So all of these good capabilities and strengths that he has because of his autism, I no longer want to fix autism if that's what I'm fixing. Not that you could fix that out of a person. But anyway, our attitude is really important in how we address this. So, for now, I have, lots of challenges to overcome with my son. He's got some social issues and severe language issues at this point, which we continue to work on. He has a body burden of toxicity that we continue to chip away at with safe and natural remedies on a daily basis. And he is truly thriving. And, if I were able to do a do-over, if the universe said, here, you can do a do-over, would you want a kid that's normal or would you want your child the way he is? And I would say I would not want a normal child. Would I want a healthy child? Hands down, 100%, I want a healthy child. So please try to keep these two things separate, okay? The fixing or curing autism isn't about fixing or curing the autism. It's about restoring wellness, okay? Because there's all the physiological things that we can do to help them thrive. But when you change your mindset about fixing autism, I'll tell you what it did for me. It led me to start going through my own healing journey, right? When I started discovering that the way I felt and the way I showed up to my son made such a strong impact on him, well, let me tell you, then you start working on yourself and you start trying to get rid of all that baggage that we have and all of that fear and worry and replace it with something else. And I promise you, when you do that, everything starts to fall into place. All those years of trying to fix things just organically just happen. It's a phenomenal thing to watch. It's a lot of work, but it's a phenomenal thing to watch, and it does work. So I want to finish this video with, these final thoughts, okay? Let's not work on fixing the autism. Let's work on restoring wellness, okay? There is so much potential in this population. We have to approach them the right way. We have to create an environment and an educational system and a day-to-day life for them that supports, loves, respects them for who they are, so their strengths can be brought out into the world and can give humanity all of these amazing things that we can't even fathom yet. So I am Dr. Andrea Labuti. I hope these videos are going to help you a lot. Jump over to my website, AndreaLabuti.com. Join the tribe. We're going to start something called the Autism Love Revolution, and it starts at home, and there's lots of work to be done, but we can have a really good time along the way supporting each other. So thanks for listening.